Welcome back to Unmasked, the podcast that uncovers the thoughts, feelings, and voices of the BU community. I'm Lazowski.
And I'm Veronica Thompson. Every week, we go out and ask our peers a random, intriguing question and allow them to share their thoughts anonymously.
Our goal is to illuminate the wide variety of personalities and experiences within the student body. Thank you for joining us today.
Now let's turn it over to our field reporting segment and see what people had to say for this week's question. Hi, I'm Veronica Thompson.
And I'm Lazowski.
And today we're at GSU and we're going to ask people, how have they changed since childhood? Let's go. What's one way you've changed since when you were a child?
So as a child, I feel like I was a lot more self-conscious and a lot more insecure. I really cared about how I was perceived by other people, and I really cared about my appearance and what people thought of me. But growing up, I kind of have stopped to care about that, and I start really just being more like myself and just trusting that the people in my circle love me for who I am, and I don't really have to change my personality around different people.
I think when I was younger, I would take things a lot too seriously. I would always be focused on winning, and that would apply to games, sports, arguments. But now I've just realized nothing's really that deep, and I kind of just let it go.
I think when I was a kid, I was a lot more optimistic about things. I always look on the bright side of things, but I feel like now, now that I'm grown up, I feel like I look at things a little more real. I'm kind of more I don't want to say pessimistic, but definitely just not looking at things as fondly as I used to. It's kind of I think it's just part of maturing, but it's whatever. But yeah.
I think as I've gotten older, I think it's important to look at things on the bright side and be more optimistic about things, because as life gets harder, it's important to look at the good things in life,
What are some changes you've had since childhood?
I'd say I'm more outgoing. I think I put myself out there more, avoid less awkward situations.
I feel like when I was younger, I loved fashion, but it didn't really manifest that well. So I would match all of my clothes and colors. So I'd wear neon leggings, neon Nike shorts, and a neon bow that all matched. But I feel like now I've kind of figured out my style and toned things down, and it is more cohesive.
What's one way you've changed since childhood?
I wear a lot less clothing.
What's one way you've changed since childhood?
I'm no longer scared of the dark.
When I was a kid, I thought I was going to go to the Olympics. That was something that very much has changed since coming here. What ski racing.
What do you mean? You still can go?
I'm not going to go to the Olympics. No, but now I'm here studying something completely different on the opposite side of the spectrum. So, in being the true musician that I am. So, yeah.
What is one way you've changed since childhood?
I think one way I've changed is to start, I'm pretty much similar. I'm still very extroverted, but as a child, I think I was very socially unaware, so I would just talk whenever I wanted, versus now I kind of can read a room and know when to say what.
Yeah. Anybody else?
He's getting stage fright.
No You're pressure. Supposed to let me come in.
Oh, I didn't give you the space. It's too late. It's okay.
No, they can edit it together.
Edit it. Make your sound
transition.
Yeah.
Bro, you want to do it? I got nothing, bro. I'm the same expert.
But yeah, basically, what I was saying was, I would be, like she said, I would be very socially unaware and, I'm not aware of the biases and judgments that I am now, more accustomed to and aware of. And back then, I would just talk, I was just, nonstop, right? But now it's, should I say this? Is it appropriate? Who am I with? Stuff like that, yeah.
So you have a filter?
Yeah, definitely.
What's one way you've changed since childhood?
I thoroughly thought I could become Katy Perry when I was younger. And I wanted to be her so badly, and now I realize I can never be Katy Perry.
How do you feel about that?
Very happy, because I think she's mean and rude, and I can't stand her.
Ever since I was little, my mom she would never let me put my hair down at school, so I would always be gelled back, exposed forehead, everything, high ponytail, everything, and it was really painful And if it was down, I had a super intense side part, like really bad. But I realized that's not the best way I feel comfortable showing my appearance to anyone. And maybe like senior year of high school, I decided I will get bangs and get a middle part. And I've been like that since then.
I wanted to be an astrophysicist when I was younger, and now I'm a computer scientist, so I guess that's a completely different thing. But they both involve math, so I guess I had something right when I was a child.
Why was there a change?
I guess it was the environment. I started to realize I wanted one thing more than the other, so I decided to switch, and I think it was for the better.
Thank you for sharing. You got something?
Yeah, sure.
What's one way you've changed since childhood?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a doctor, do something in the medical field, and I also had a change of heart, and I became a computer scientist or aspiring software engineer. So, yeah, that's something that's changed, I guess.
Is that how you all know each other? CS?
Yeah, we know each other. CS.
In our culture, we're both Albanian. That's why.
Oh, wow. Period. Okay.
I feel like in high school, I was very trapped in my household, or like with my family. I couldn't speak the way I wanted to, or they had a different mindset than I did. So coming to BU and being able to be independent made me realize who I actually was.
What is one way you've changed since childhood?
I discovered that I like women.
Period. Is that all you want to say?
No. On a serious note, I grew up in a rural town that had like a lot of farmers, and I grew up very sheltered. So coming to Boston, I was able to take a lot more classes and have friends that is more similar to my identity now.
I come from rural Indiana, so it's very a lot of straight people, and there's not very many gay people there. I didn't really know what that was, and so when I was young, I thought I was straight. I was very much pushed into that, and now I'm more myself.
I would say I'm pretty similar, but I think the things I love, I've just started to love more. I still loved music when I was younger, but growing up has really helped strengthen my passion for it. Being in a place where I'm surrounded by people who also love music, love life. Yeah, pretty much the same.
What is one way you've changed since childhood?
I'm vegetarian now.
What's one way you've changed since childhood?
I think I've become a lot more granola.
Would you like to elaborate? Examples?
Big country music fan now. Love the PNW. Yeah.
I no longer feel uncomfortable around all of the things I was told to avoid as a child, like Nick and drugs and all that. I used to get very scared when I saw people doing it, and now I'm just oh, cool, nice guys.
So I think when I was younger, I would sleep a lot more than compared to now. Obviously in college, we have some really wacky sleep schedules, but yeah.
So I think my perception about my parents has definitely changed, because growing up, especially as a teenager, I always thought they were on my case and stuff like that, and they're always just trying to ruin my fun. But now I more mature, I realize that they were right a lot of the time. So I listen to them a lot more, and I really consider their perspective with things. So yeah.
What's one way you've changed since childhood?
I'm not clumsy anymore. As a kid, I used to bust my bum a lot. I used to hurt myself a lot, break my legs, break all my bones, but I think I matured enough to be more cautious of my body and not destroy it.
What's one way you've changed since childhood?
I would say I've grown more calm and patient over time.
What's one way you've changed since you were a child?
I've gotten a lot taller, bigger. I've grown up, I think, physically, at least.
Thank you for sharing. Nobody's actually said that yet. How have you changed since childhood?
Well, childhood was a sweet period of my life that I reflect on various moments of my day. I think the inevitable march that we all take to death really sobers us, and we slowly lose touch of the innocence that made the world so kind at a young age. And I think as I matured, I've also become sadder, more evil and selfish. And I think that's the natural progression of life. We ask ourselves, why is it difficult for older people in power to understand the needs of the youth? And it's not that they can't understand. It's that they've lived through life knowing that it will only get worse, sadder, lonelier, and darker. So I think from childhood to now, I become more mature.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. I think I'm going to end the episode with that one because, dang. So we're debriefing after the episode on this beautiful, sunny Tuesday. And we're going to answer the question for ourselves. I will start. I'm just going to do a really quick one. Nothing serious. One way that I've changed since childhood is that now I have tattoos. Thank you. How about you, Adam?
I used to read all the time with my spare time. I found that books would allow me to go into places that other people wouldn't really be able to access, so it gave me my own world, my own playground. And I find that a lot of my creative ideas and my time for reading has been sucked up by the work, the excess things that we have to do throughout every single day. So it's difficult to find the time to get back to that world. But yeah, hopefully whenever I find the time, I'll be able to dive back into it. Maybe not in the same intensity as I did when I was younger, but I'm still hopeful. Be able to find out some new things and create some new things, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Unmasked, presented by Boston University's independent student newspaper, The Daily Free Press. Make sure to tune in every Wednesday.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. To hear previous episodes of Unmasked, visit dfpress.co/listen for our podcast archive.
Until we meet again,
goodbye.
You can share anything as long as it's an honest answer.
In Albania, is there like a what's your? I don't know what the language is that you guys speak. Albanian. Albanian is the language. Okay. You have like a phrase in Albanian or something?
That was the last episode.
We had an episode last week. We also came here on Tuesday and we asked what languages people spoke and like to say a phrase in the language. I'm just curious.
You can say Persian detya. That means like hello or how are you. It's like Persian detya. Yeah. Yeah, Persian detya. Yeah.
Albanian's almost like similar to Russian. No, it's similar ties a little bit.
I'm not really. No, it's actually its own little like kind of. It's a very old language.
Its own branch. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You guys give such meaningful answers. I couldn't think of any.
Just every answer is meaningful as long as it's honest.
I'm so tired.
That's one way you've changed. That's the way. Just being exhausted. All of your bones.
I've like broken a couple, but I've gotten a lot of burns.
How many?
Like I've gotten like a 3rd-degree burn on my leg. I've like stepped on like a sharp little like pillar thing, and like not like a tack. It's like a cylinder thing. And I like stepped on it, punctured all the way through my skin, touching my bone. I've like smashed my face into a brick wall riding a bike. I was like 5 years old. It's some crazy stuff.
Have a wonderful day. Be safe.
Yeah, I just literally only get chicken.
How do you do it online?
Yeah, I just say nothing but chicken.
This sauce is insane.
I know, but it's so unhealthy.
It's saturated with fat.
Yeah. It's not good for the heart. I'm gonna sit outside. It's such a nice day out.
Go for it.
Y'all enjoy. What's the weather like today, Adam?
It is
That's crazy.
57 degrees outside in Fahrenheit for the Americans. For the other individuals, we'll cut this out. It's about 15 degrees
It's 14.
centigrade.
It's 14 degrees Celsius.
That was close.
Which is amazing.
14 degrees centigrade.